It's already super scary to have a stranger banging on your front door at 1 in the morning. But when your parents answer the door and it's a stranger claiming to know things about you from 20 years ago, y'all, I would lose sleep on this for the rest of my life. This is definitely one of the more mysterious stories I'm covering. So let's get into it and try to unravel this mystery together. Weird guy shows up at my parents' house at 1 in the morning looking for me and uses details of my life that were valid 20 years ago. Help me figure this out. Posted this on the Creepy Encounter sub and someone suggested that I post here. This happened 3 nights ago and I'm going crazy trying to figure it out. I just moved into a new apartment 1 month ago and I'm still unpacking and settling in. I have been using my parents' address as my mailing address, who lives a few towns over, 20 minutes away, all my life. 3 nights ago, my parents called me at 2 in the morning, freaked out, and proceeded to tell me this story. Apparently, at 1 a.m., someone starts banging on their front door and repeatedly ringing their doorbell. My stepdad walks downstairs and opens the door, leaving the front glass door closed and locked. There was a man standing outside who looked to be in his 30s with a black hoodie on with the hood pulled up around his face. He didn't have any distinguishing facial features, facial hair, or tattoos. The only thing my stepdad said was that he looked to be Hispanic. Neither my stepdad or my mother, who was watching the whole thing out a window, recognized the man. Guys, not me recording this at 10 p.m. at night and feeling spooked out, but let's keep going. The man says, "I'm so sorry to bother you, but I'm looking for my full name." My stepdad plays dumb and says, "Who?" The man proceeds to state my full name again and says that my boyfriend is worried because I didn't come home that night. He claims to be a friend of my boyfriend and tells my stepdad that they're both out looking for me, worried because I didn't show up at home. I don't have a boyfriend. Nuh-uh, no way. Let's go, let's run, and let's call the police because this is starting to creep me out, guys. I live by myself with my 3 dogs and haven't been in a relationship for the past 5 to 6 months. Here's the weird part. My stepdad asks the guy what boyfriend he was talking about, and the man tells him the name of the boyfriend I had when I was in 10th grade, nearly 20 years ago. My boyfriend in 10th grade had a very, very unique Italian name, and I've never met anyone with a full name even close to this. He said my high school boyfriend's name a few more times to ensure that my stepdad heard him and repeats that they are very worried for me. Is my stepdad sure I'm not inside? At this point, my stepdad is weirded out and closes and locks the door in his face. That is so weird. An ex-boyfriend from like 20 years ago? I get the feeling maybe these people are scammers or something and either want a chance to rob them and are just waiting for a good time to just bust in, or maybe they might want to scam the family for money to help find her. Let's see how this goes though, because it's just super sus all around. The man does not leave. He lingers in front of my parents' house for the next 10 minutes, smoking cigarettes and talking on the phone. Finally, my parents call the cops. About 5 minutes before the cops arrive, the man walks down to the dead end on their block and drives away in a silver car. Stepdad was unable to get the license plate. My parents file a police report and nothing else happens. After I hear this story, I am going nuts over the weird details. How would someone know who I dated nearly 20 years ago? And what would the motivation be for making up a story that included the weird detail about my past? I have not had contact with a 10th grade boyfriend in over a decade. Yesterday, I decided to message him on Facebook to see if he has any insight. I tell him the whole story and he's just as confused as I am and claims to have no part in it. I am at a loss. I'm also really freaked out that some strange man is going through that much trouble at 1 in the morning just to look for me. Any insights or ideas would be greatly appreciated. And no, nothing else weird happened since then. The fact that he lingered is giving me the vibes that maybe he wants to break in. But in the same token, what kind of thief hangs around when they fail to break in? I feel like in all the videos I see of criminals failing to break in, they always run away as fast as they can if they don't succeed. So that kind of doesn't sound quite right either. All in all, this would honestly freak me out if I was OP. So let's look to see what she has in the updates for us. Update number 1. Wow, this really blew up. Thank you so much for all the kind words and precautions that I should take. I want to add something here that a few people commented that might shine some light on this mystery. First off, I am not in any legal trouble and have no reason to think someone would be suing me. God, I mean, I guess it's always in the realm of possibility that I'm being sued by someone, but I really don't think that's it. Like I previously commented, I had an expired registration ticket that I did not show up to court for, but I believe I got a letter in the mail just asking me to pay a really large fee, so I don't think that's related. I did take a personal loan out. Took it out about a year and a half ago. It wasn't for anything too crazy, and I was really good with making payments on time until about 6 months ago when I had a medical issue. Currently, I'm really behind on payments, but to my knowledge, I have not been defaulted on the loan yet. What do you guys think? Related? I had absolutely no idea that this is a thing, or I would have included this detail to begin with. Let me know your thoughts. Update number 2. I have a list of things that I'm going to look into tomorrow based off of my own thoughts and based off of a ton of valuable feedback I got in here. Thank you. We'll post an update ASAP. Update number 3. I'm so sorry it's taking me so long to update, but it's a super busy time at work. Unfortunately, there isn't much to report. I called the loan company and they claim to have nothing to do with it. All of my friends and family have also noted that the 1 a.m. factor kind of rules that out anyway. Nothing else strange has happened at my parents'. I went there for the first time last night and kept a close eye out for anything. Didn't observe anything out of the norm. So, this remains a mystery. I'll be sure to update if anything else happens. Personally, I don't think this has anything to do with a loan, to be honest. I feel like there are a lot more effective ways for lenders to get their money back, like wage garnishment and things like that, so that kind of leaves that out of it. Also, sending someone at 1 a.m. and using an irrelevant piece of info from like 2 decades ago just to get her to pay back a loan just doesn't make sense to me. I'm honestly thinking this has something to do with someone from her past, but it's just so unclear who it would be, because who would even feel a deep enough connection from 20 years ago that would prompt someone to do something like this unless it was some kind of like extreme bullying case and maybe they want revenge or something. But let's see what OP says after a 1-year update. Alright, 1 year later, I finally have an update to this insane mystery. I will include the original story here, first followed by the update. Recent update. After this happened, me and my family and a couple of my close friends have been talking about this mystery in depth to try and put our heads together and figure it out. We all have our own theories, but ultimately no definitive answer as to what happened or who this creeper was. So we pretty much put it to rest and only continue to joke about it once in a while. Here's the update. My stepsister, my stepdad's daughter, and her fiance were at a house party right after the holidays, around early January of this year. While they were there, they started talking to a girl that neither of them knew. After some time talking together, the girl started talking about her ex-boyfriend and how they were going through a really tough time together. They had just recently broke up and she felt really bad because he was a wreck over it. Somehow it came up that this girl's ex-boyfriend was my 10th grade boyfriend, the one with the really unique Italian name. The whole situation wasn't that big of a coincidence since I went to the same high school my stepsister's fiance went to and we have a lot of mutual friends. So this makes sense that they were at a party that would include some people I went to high school with. Ooh, it's getting spicy. Let's keep going. As soon as my stepsister and her fiance hear this, they both start freaking out, and without revealing too many details, they tell the girl about the whole mystery and how weird it was. As they're telling the story, the girl's face starts to go white and she looks like she's about to cry. My stepsister and fiance try to console her and ask her what's wrong. The wine/beer had been flowing at this point, so I'm sure everyone was a little bit tipsy. The girl starts to tell them that a few nights ago, she was sleeping and someone started banging on her door at, get this, 1 a.m. Just like what happened to me at my parents'. The girl jumps out of bed and says she was absolutely terrified by how loud and aggressive someone was banging on her door. She said she literally thought it was going to break in. The girl has a Ring camera, so looks on her phone. There on a camera is a guy in a black hoodie banging on her door. She obviously pretends like she isn't home and keeps all of the lights off. He continues banging. As she's getting ready to dial 911, the guy stops and leaves. She said she was absolutely terrified. For whatever reason, she didn't end up calling the cops, but may have went to stay with a friend that night or the night after. My sister and fiance are shocked. So am I, low-key, by the details and how similar this is to my story, especially because of the mutual ex-boyfriend we share, except this girl literally just broke things off with him. They ask the girl if she has any idea who the guy is, and she says no, but that it definitely is not the actual ex-boyfriend. She said this guy was much taller and heavier than our shared mutual ex. How freaking weird. This mystery is still unsolved, and these new details honestly just make my head spin even more. No one else has showed up to my parents' door since the actual incident a year ago. So here's some answers that we have so far. 1. 10th grade boyfriend was into drugs when I dated him back in high school. No idea if he continued to use throughout his life or not, but can confirm he is definitely an addict who may or may not be in recovery currently. 2. 10th grade boyfriend has been to my parents' house multiple times. Uh-oh. The puzzle pieces are connecting, guys. My parents still live in the same house I grew up in, and 10th grade boyfriend has been over many times while we dated in high school. I don't know where he currently lives, but he grew up about 10 minutes away from my parents' house. 3. 10th grade boyfriend and I had a horrific breakup. I met my high school sweetheart while I was dating him and broke up with him in a pretty messed up way. He held a grudge over it all throughout high school and was extremely nasty to me to the point of bullying. At one point, I had to get a security guard to escort me to classes because him and his friends were bullying me so badly. The bullying was only severe for the rest of 10th grade, but he definitely hated me all throughout high school. At one point, he did end up apologizing to me and explained that he was just heartbroken over me breaking up with him, but at that point, I was way past the point of forgiving him. After graduating high school, we ran into each other maybe once or twice while I was home from college, and he was totally cordial and nice to me, and we laughed the high school experiences off. 4. I can definitely try reaching out to him on Facebook again and bringing back up this whole mystery with the added updates from his recent ex-girlfriend to see what his reaction is and gauge whether or not he's being truthful in it. I can also ask some mutual high school friends who know him about how he currently is and if he's into any shady stuff or not. 5. My stepsis only gave me a first name description of recent ex-girlfriend from the party, but I can go on 10th grade boyfriend's Facebook and look for her under his friends, then reach out to her on Facebook Messenger to inquire about ring footage and ask her more questions. Also, see if she's ever reached out to cops. I agree this is probably the best thing to do if I want more answers, but I agree I need to be more careful as I still don't know what's going on here. 6. 10th grade boyfriend does not have a brother, just one younger sister that I remember from back in high school. Also, here's some additional comments before I give my thoughts. Comment 1. I just posted some answers in the comments about the nature of my breakup with high school boyfriend and how horrific it was, and how he basically harassed me for the rest of 10th grade. Your last theory, and what a lot of other people are commenting, is starting to make the most sense to me. It could be that my 10th grade boyfriend has a tendency to get insanely hung up on girls and is sending a close friend or relative to do these 1 a.m. drop-bys. And this would especially make sense if he's still using drugs like he did in high school. This theory being correct would mean he lied to me when I reached out to him on Facebook a year ago, which of course he would. If this is the case, it seems like he moved on to his current ex. I just hope he doesn't swing back around to me. Comment 2. I decided I'm going to try and find out the girl's full name so I can look her up on social media. I may even be able to find her with just the first name that I already know from my stepsis telling me. I can go onto 10th grade boyfriend's Facebook and look in his friends list for a girl with the same first name who looks like she could have been his ex-girlfriend. He may even have pictures with her tagged, so it shouldn't be that hard unless he wiped his social media clean of her after they broke up. When I'm able to find her, I'm going to reach out to her and try and get some answers. I think this is the safest route since I still don't know 10th grade boyfriend's role in this, and I did already ask him once and he claimed to have no part in it or know anything, which may or may not have been a lie. Based on how scared my stepsis said this girl was, I'm betting she'll be willing to talk to me about it since we share the same experience. I'll make an update post when I have more info. Thanks everyone. So that's the end of the story so far, and I'm definitely sure that it has to be the ex-boyfriend at this point. He's probably mentally unwell or on drugs and just has an unhealthy obsession with his ex-girlfriends. And I feel like maybe he's also been low-key stalking OP's social media for the last few years and still has some kind of leftover feelings for her. I also feel like when he realized that when OP and her most recent ex broke up, he could have tried to get her to remember him again using this weird tactic, hoping she'll ask him about it and they'll rekindle something. And then once she actually messaged him about how weird it was, he probably just backtracked and didn't have the courage to keep things going. One thing for sure though is he definitely does have a partner in crime that's either just as crazy as he is, or maybe there's someone that he lied to in order to get sympathy to get them to do these weird visits. It's just super weird all around, but I'm glad that it seems to be only one incident and never continued. There are just so many possibilities with this one, so what do you guys think? I really enjoyed the mystery in this story, but wish that there was a more clear conclusion. I guess we'll never know until OP updates. Let me know your hypothesis in the comments.